Section 1. Introduction. Welcome to Radical Recovery Peer Support. If you're listening to this, you may be interested in or have been invited to participate in a Radical Recovery Peer Support group. Therefore, it's worth mentioning that the driving factor of the group is robust participation. We believe that participation increases engagement and reduces the monotony of only having the group facilitator present material. All participation in the group is voluntary. However, in some instances, a person may be mandated to participate. Even in this scenario, the person has the ability to refuse participation, which may result in some other option or consequence for them. This is based on their situation and has nothing to do with the group process. Because participation is voluntary, we cannot be sure from one group to another how many people will participate, causing differences from group to group of how much material any one person will present. Our program offers a certificate of participation and a certificate of completion. People may need a certificate to receive some benefit or to avert a consequence. To receive either certificate, a person will have different participation requirements. Only a certificate of completion will allow a participant to take the next step of becoming a group facilitator. Group facilitators must be able to highly identify with the program. This means that for all the questions other than the ones labeled, "How does this passage connect to?" the facilitator must be able to answer 85% of the questions. Everyone can participate by taking turns reading the material and answering, "How does this passage connect to?" But those who are unable to complete at least 85% of the questions may struggle to answer them in group, which is why only those seeking a certificate of completion to become facilitators will answer the questions during group. While many people may participate in the group for different reasons, we encourage everyone to participate as if they're trying to earn a certificate of completion, because it will make the group more dynamic and peer-supported. The biggest hurdle is determining if you believe you can answer 85% of the questions. Hopefully, you'll receive a question list or the book a couple weeks before group begins. If that fails, there's at least a week or two between the first group session where no questions are answered and the second session. We suggest using that time to look over the questions and determine if you can answer 85% of the questions. To earn a certificate of completion, your book's answers must be checked for quality and completeness. RRPS, Radical Recovery Peer Support. Community and Peer Services, CAPS. About RRPS. RRPS is a program for personal growth. It teaches 3 parallel recovery concepts and 9 recovery fundamentals, as well as introduces the linear growth model. The LGM emphasizes that while growth is not always linear, consistent effort does lead to progress over time. RRPS helps participants achieve stability and wellness through making consistent efforts through the concepts and fundamentals. RRPS assumes that we are all mentors of our current environments and encourages participants to be better mentors and role models. Through covering topics such as honesty, trust, acceptance, support, purpose, self-actualization, and others, the participant develops self-awareness and seeks to reach their true potential. Applying the concepts and fundamentals through inspirational readings in the workbook and homework questions that promote introspection provides skills and support that lead to personal growth. This kind of wellness philosophy can translate to participants being more focused, balanced, and productive. Supporting participation in a program like RRPS has benefits for people experiencing mental health, substance abuse, and criminal history challenges. It can also be useful for struggling employees. It can help anyone develop life skills to achieve stability and manage troubling feelings, and can help them become more resilient. Interested individuals and organizations can contact us directly at communityandpeerservices@gmail.com. www.communitypeerservices.com. About this program. Radical Recovery Peer Support is a program that utilizes peer support to help individuals achieve wellness and personal growth. The author of the program uses first-person inspirational passages to draw parallels between concepts and recovery. The program involves group sessions that can be done either in person or online. For the group programs, we have 3 options. This book group is a group with a focus on higher or continued education called RRPS University. RRPS University emphasizes a crucial element of recovery is getting involved in and taking education serious as a means of achieving a better quality of life. Another version is a general wellness and personal growth group, which is simply called Radical Recovery Peer Support. Finally, there's a new version of RRPS for criminal reentry called RRPS Liberation, which discusses developing new belief systems that will help turn our lives around after an arrest. Over the course of 5 sessions, each group covers important concepts like the linear growth model and parallel recovery concepts. It also focuses on the 9 recovery fundamentals, which include principles like honesty, trust, acceptance, hope, personal responsibility, self-advocacy, and others. How each group presents the concepts and fundamentals is unique. The linear growth model recognizes that while growth and recovery are not always linear, putting in effort does often lead to progress over time. Growth may appear uneven, with periods of progress and periods of struggle. However, making consistent efforts through programs like Radical Recovery Peer Support can help us move closer to our hope of achieving stability and wellness. RRPS is a cognitive behavioral therapy. It is such because the description of the concepts and fundamentals, as well as the person-first descriptions of the recovery journey, address beliefs, thoughts, and feelings commonly experienced in a specific but large audience. Each program addresses thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that held the author back and provides a solution of improving our thoughts, beliefs, and control over our feelings by getting more aligned with positive expressions of recovery concepts and fundamentals. Examples of how this is done in RRPS Liberation include changing thoughts for people with criminal histories, such as, "Only my failures matter," to, "I have hope, even though it's tougher with a record." Changing thoughts of, "All probation officers are out to get me," to, "Many of them want to help," reduces dichotomous thinking by encouraging the view that it's not all black or white, or one or the other, but that there are levels of growth on a continuum, and a new start can be made at any time. The programs also incorporate themes of rational emotive therapy in the different events emphasized in each program. With more general distressing circumstances in the original RRPS, to more specific events such as educational neglect in RRPS University, and the stigma of having a criminal record in RRPS Liberation, to our beliefs about these issues and the consequences for results of those beliefs. The program also employs themes of reality therapy in its emphasis on personal choice and personal responsibility. The program also utilizes a wide variety of homework questions that are done outside of group, common of CBT programs, which reinforce the goals of the program. Each passage that relates an experience based on a concept or fundamental usually focuses on a change in thinking that improves each outcome. Schedule. Session 1 covers an introduction to the linear growth model, the parallel recovery concepts, and the 9 recovery fundamentals. Session 2 covers the 3 parallel recovery concepts. Session 3 covers the first 3 fundamentals of honesty, trust, and acceptance. Session 4 covers hope, personal responsibility, and self-advocacy. Session 5 covers support, purpose, and self-actualization. Section 2, Radical Recovery Peer Support University, Day 1. This curriculum emphasizes balanced linear growth through the development of 9 recovery fundamentals and 3 parallel recovery concepts that occur alongside each of the 9 fundamentals. The goals of this program are based on the fundamentals of recovery and the recovery concepts. They are: learn the importance of and how to perform self-care. Learn to develop a recovery plan to take recovery to greater heights, recovery planning. Overcome challenges or troubling thoughts, handle stressful or difficult situations, achieve personal growth and wellness, and live a self-directed life. Learn that while participating in recovery, we are at every moment a mentor and a model of recovery behavior. From the Better Days workbook passage, Creating Change, Mahatma Gandhi, the great Indian spiritual leader, said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Gregorio Lewis, author of Better Days, restates this point by saying, "I say that first I must change myself into the person I want to be." The words from the passage, Creating Change, and Mahatma Gandhi indicate that by learning to focus on our personal experience of growth and change, the world will change in our direction, as we model the behaviors we want to see in the world. Many programs say that giving back and helping others with the same problems as we have experienced is a sort of final step. The reasoning of this program, and in peer support in general, is that showing recovery is possible occurs alongside every stage in the process, and our actions create a lasting impact. In addition, many people who have been successful in recovery say that giving back, taking commitments to support others, and remembering that they are an example of recovery in their communities helped them the most in their recovery. The 9 Recovery Fundamentals. Recovery fundamentals are a set of characteristics that we can use to gauge the strength of our recovery and include, but are not limited to, honesty, trust, acceptance, hope, personal responsibility, self-advocacy, support, purpose, self-actualization. A breakdown of the fundamentals listed first can cause difficulty with the fundamentals listed last. Notes. Parallel recovery concepts. Self-care, recovery planning, mentoring. Growth often does not occur linearly, although many of us wish it did. Imagine if you knew X amount of effort led to Y amount of growth. We often hope growth would look like this. On a graph, growth would look like a line that starts at 0, but increases faster and faster over time, with no setbacks. What it usually looks like. On a graph, growth often looks like a mess, with lines crisscrossing back and forth, going up and down with no indication of a predictable future direction. The linear growth model, growth we can aim for. The linear growth model gets its name from the idea that 1. Growth is usually non-linear. 2. We want to put consistent effort into each of the 9 fundamentals, which will result in more, but not all, consistent experiences in our lives. 3. When developed inconsistently with this format, inconsistent and unexpected outcomes may occur. 4. When developed in the order listed previously, each of the 9 recovery fundamentals assists in the cultivation and growth of the other fundamentals. 5. When utilizing the parallel recovery concepts in conjunction with the recovery fundamentals, we can shift our results to a better outcome. With all the twists and turns and ups and downs of recovery, it can be hard to even tell if growth is occurring. By putting the same amount of effort and care into each of the recovery fundamentals, we will get more consistent results than if we were to put all our efforts in one fundamental. Because our own actions and behaviors change and impact the world around us, it's common that when we start exhibiting a better relationship with the recovery fundamentals, we will experience a mirror effect from the world. We may sometimes wonder why it seems we receive exaggerated reactions or displays of the fundamentals directed back at us from society, but can understand that this may be connected to our own inconsistent demonstrations of the fundamentals. False sense of security. When we experience success at recovery concepts or the later fundamentals, particularly starting with personal responsibility through self-advocacy, support, and purpose, we may be lulled into a false sense of security that we're doing well, despite shortfalls related to the earlier fundamentals. We encourage that no matter our level of success with the later fundamentals, we take a look at how the earlier fundamentals show up for us. Gaps in our development may lead to blind spots that may damage our recovery. Why we present the recovery fundamentals and parallel recovery concepts in this order. There are many reasons that if we do not take proper care of each recovery fundamental and parallel recovery concept, we will not unlock the full growth potential of incorporating recovery concepts or fundamentals into our lives. We give examples of how neglecting components of the recovery concepts and fundamentals leads to a breakdown of the transition to the other components. Recovery concepts. This group process and other methods of recovery can be hard on us emotionally, mentally, and physically. Therefore, it's important that we're kind to ourselves and benefit from this process. From the very beginning of an attempt to better ourselves, such as participating in this group, it will be important to maintain the recovery concepts of self-care, recovery planning, and mentorship. Right from the beginning, it's important to have a self-care plan, acknowledge the difficulty of this process, and create positive experiences to look forward to. Develop a recovery plan involving the desired outcome and benefit of this process. And recognize that our participation in this process can either help or hinder the recovery of other participants. Recovery fundamentals. Honesty. If we're in fear of what someone will find out about our secrets, harm done to others, past crimes, and the things that make us feel guilt, shame, or fear of persecution, we will not know what we can trust others with. Trust. If we can't trust ourselves or are not aware of who we can trust or what systems are working for us and not against us, we will have a hard time finding acceptance of our situation. Acceptance. If we can't accept our current situation or past experiences and are constantly suffering from them, or if someone or some force has an uncomfortable level of control over our lives, we will have a hard time recognizing things we can hope for. Hope. If we don't have any hope and are not propelled by our desire to achieve a hoped-for outcome, the natural inclination is to be unmotivated about our personal responsibilities. If we can't get satisfaction by working on our hopes, we often fail to develop and perform personal responsibilities. Personal responsibilities. If we are lacking in fulfilling our personal responsibilities, we often face resistance from others when we self-advocate for ourselves because we have less basis to show that we're capable. Self-advocacy. If we fail to effectively advocate for ourselves through means of showing that our capabilities or progress make us a good fit for certain endeavors, or if we advocate for ourselves for that which provides outcomes inconsistent with our recovery, or if we advocate to the wrong people, among other things, we may not get adequate support. Support. A significant outcome of working through the recovery fundamentals leading up to support is that we find ourselves in the best position to begin offering support. It takes support to fulfill big goals. If we do not look for support or accept support from the right people, we may have a hard time achieving our goals. With the added effort it takes to achieve goals without support, we have a hard time finding our purpose because of the effort and struggle. Often things that seem more natural or easier for us, or areas where we get the most support, are also the areas excellent to find purpose. Purpose. Without a purpose with which to gauge our progress or put our efforts, we often feel like we're repeating a pattern that rarely changes, or that there's no perceivable pattern but rather instability or lack of focus. Finding and incorporating a purpose into our lives leads to self-actualization, a feeling that we're fulfilling our unique potential. Self-actualization. This recovery fundamental is often considered a final stage of development. However, to maintain this stage, we must continue to put sufficient and equal amounts of effort into each of the recovery fundamentals. Also, a benefit can be found in incorporating the parallel recovery concepts. Stages of wellness and recovery. Stage 1. 1. Learning about recovery. 2. Exercising choice. 3. Seeking services, i.e., counseling, therapy, medication, detox, peer support. 4. Staying away from harmful behaviors. 5. Staying away from negative influences, places, or people. 6. Ending the pattern of isolation. 7. Finding positive role models. 8. Learning to ask for support. 9. Becoming personally responsible. 10. Experiencing joy and distress that can be overwhelming at times, extreme but fickle. Stage 2. 1. Increase in physical health. 2. Ability to distinguish between different feelings and handle them. 3. Reducing emotions that interfere with our well-being. 4. Changes in thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. 5. Zoning in on negative behaviors. 6. Having experienced the benefits of recovery, becoming committed to recovery. Stage 3. 1. Desire to make amends for harm we caused before we began recovery. 2. Becoming the change we want to see in the world. 3. Learning not to inflict self-harm or create hardship. 4. developing honest and trusting relationships with more people. Stage 4. 1. Ability to use our strengths and knowledge to seize opportunities. 2. Automatic use of wellness tools and coping skills. 3. Self-forgiveness. 4. Building loving relationships rather than dependent ones. 5. Experiencing enduring happiness. Stage 5. 1. Becoming self-actualized. 2. Gaining confidence, gratitude, and acceptance. 3. Developing integrity and humility. 4. Significant reduction of fear. Stage 6. Celebration and maintenance. The guiding principles of recovery, taken from SAM-HSA. Hope. Belief that recovery is possible. When hope is internalized and promoted by others, it's a key driver of recovery. Person-driven. People define their own goals and the path to reaching them. Many pathways, roads. Recovery is highly personalized and different for each person. Holistic. Recovery emphasizes mind, body, spirit, and community. Peer support. Peers encourage and engage each other. Relational. Recovery is supported by people who believe in a person's ability to recover. Culture. Traditions, beliefs, and values are important in defining a person's recovery journey and path. Trauma-informed. Services should promote safety and trust, creating choice, empowerment, and collaboration. Strengths and responsibilities. Individuals, communities, and families have strengths and resources that can benefit recovery. Individuals have the responsibility for their own recovery, but family and community support is essential. Respect. Acceptance and appreciation is key to recovery. This includes respect from other people and a respect for ourselves that helps us develop a positive identity and confidence. What mentors should know. Peer support is self-directed and works on the principle that clients are the experts on their own experiences and needs. It's a type of therapy based on the idea that each person can become more self-aware, take charge of their own lives, and improve. It is person-driven. People define their own goals and the path to reaching them. Peer support uses empathy, a key component of emotional intelligence. Empathy is the ability to understand and accurately perceive the internal experiences of another person. In client-centered counseling, supporters try to show empathy by actively listening to clients, considering their feelings and experiences, and communicating and accepting them. In peer support, empowerment can come from facilitating self-discovery and growth by allowing people to make their own choices and decisions based on their own values, priorities, and goals. The therapist supports the client in identifying their strengths, resources, and areas for growth, and assists them in developing coping strategies, problem-solving skills, and self-care practices. Empathy also helps counteract learned helplessness by creating a safe and supportive environment where clients feel empowered to take ownership of their lives and make positive changes. What mentors should know. The trauma-informed approach demands trust and safety at all levels. This practice encourages choice, collaboration, and empowerment. To practice the trauma-informed approach, request and accommodate feedback as to how to increase the safety of the environment, increase trust by practicing genuineness, and create choice by using open-ended and permission questions. Stages of change. Stages of change include pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. Often mentors will fail helping someone change behaviors because they do not approach change in the order previously listed. In pre-contemplation, we educate and develop discrepancy. In contemplation, we encourage and view pros and cons. In preparation, we dismantle barriers. In action, we validate. In maintenance, we should encourage consistency and acquiring more skills related to successful outcomes related to the goal or behavior. Some cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is outside the scope of a peer recovery supporter. Various practices like desensitization techniques and use of imagery are concepts best left to qualified clinicians. However, relaxation therapy may be utilized, as well as cognitive behavioral workbooks that are crafted to address thoughts, beliefs, and feelings in a way that doesn't create excessive pressure on the mentee. Person-centered techniques, such as building trust and rapport, are often helpful, but not required, as some mentees prefer a more distant expert approach. However, this too is outside the scope of a peer recovery supporter. Differentiate between the medical model and the wellness-focused approach to recovery. The medical model is primarily related to psychiatry. In the medical model, expert psychiatrists consider the problems being experienced to be related to genetic inheritance or chemical imbalances. They rely on medication-assisted therapy to cause positive change in their patients. This is different from the approach of a social worker, therapist, or peer supporter. A wellness-focused approach often involves peer support, or the support of someone who lived experience of mental health or substance abuse. Moreover, it considers social determinants of health, such as housing, employment, and social support, as significant factors of well-being. A wellness-focused approach involves growth, meaning, purpose, and empowerment beyond the problem, which helps a person live the life they want to live. Day 2. Make sure to prepare for the special exercise found in the section for self-care. Self-care requires us to make a list of 5 wellness activities we can use to help ourselves feel better. We will discuss our lists of wellness activities in group or in breakout rooms. Please be prepared ahead of time. Please complete responses to passages and questions included in future groups, such as Day 2, before the next group. Instructions for passage responses. 1. Response must include 5 keywords found in the passage itself. 2. Ensure that the keywords get underlined, so we know which ones you used. 3. The recovery concept or fundamental being linked to the passage must be mentioned twice in the response. Notes. Section 3. Radical Recovery Peer Support University, Day 2. Insights on self-care. Self-care is any healthy action we take to feel better. Sometimes we use self-care to respond to stressors, triggering events, or when we feel like we're in crisis. Self-care that might work normally may not work as well under very difficult conditions. Tip for dealing with stressors. One suggestion for how to deal with especially difficult situations is to put more time and effort into the things we usually do to make us feel better. Really good self-care is often planned. Planning self-care before we feel unwell has benefits, such as having something to look forward to or helping us not forget self-care. Because of this, it's often included in recovery planning. Examples of self-care. Remembering our boundaries and what we will or will not do. Being of service to others. Writing a gratitude list. Spending time with family and friends. Getting enough sleep. Taking breaks. Stressors, burnout, vicarious trauma, poor time management, and compassion fatigue are common reasons we provide self-care for ourselves. The assignment, how does this passage relate to, must include 5 keywords from the passage itself which cannot be used or counted more than once. In addition, the recovery concept or fundamental must be mentioned at least twice in the assignment. Words that do not convey a concept like we, the, or a will not be counted. Variations of words that are used in passages are accepted, such as changing simple to simplest. You must underline the keywords you use. Self-care. In the past, I struggled tremendously with overcommitting myself without paying attention to my own needs and limitations. Whether it was taking on too many responsibilities at work without breaks, not getting enough sleep due to cramming for exams, or neglecting basic self-care activities like healthy meals and exercise. When papers and projects piled up, I had a bad habit of running myself into the ground. I've come to realize through experience that this type of approach ends up backfiring more often than not. When I'm stressed, overwhelmed, unhealthy, or unbalanced, it becomes so much harder for me to focus clearly on my studies and perform to the best of my abilities. Taking time for rest, nourishment, leisure activities, and stress relief has made a huge difference in my ability to manage my academic workload sustainably over time. Activities like documenting my weekly time usage has helped me identify time-draining activities I can reduce or eliminate, allowing me to better focus energy where it's needed. Example: how does the passage connect to self-care? The person sharing the quote had problems with overcommitting and taking on too many responsibilities. They didn't look out for their own needs or limitations. Taking time for rest, nourishment, and leisure activities was a form of self-care that made a huge difference for them. Performing time management functions like documenting time usage was a form of self-care that helped them better focus their energy. Self-care. Self-care can take up some of our time, which we might not have much of, but it actually increases our performance, helps us focus on and finish our work faster, and increases our energy levels. Monitoring my energy levels and knowing when to take breaks has been helpful. When I begin to feel burned out, fatigued, or overwhelmed with my academic responsibilities, taking time to do something nice for myself helps recharge my batteries. Even simple acts of self-care, like taking a relaxing shower or bath, reading a fun book, calling a supportive friend, or spending time in nature, have made a big difference. Doing something just for me to refresh my mind allows me to return to my studies feeling happier and more peaceful. I also focus on hobbies I find genuinely enjoyable during break times, whether that's listening to music, drawing, or watching YouTube videos about my interests, or other simple pleasures. Staying balanced by incorporating self-care into my recovery plan has helped me support my education better. Homework. Provide a list of wellness activities. 1 through 5. Recovery planning. Recovery planning is self-determined, but often includes friends and family, supporters, or community leaders. Recovery planning is done with a collaboration of individuals involved and utilizes recovery capital. A recovery plan is based on self-determination, identifies strengths of the individual and takes inventory of recovery capital, identifies goals, challenges, action steps, and date of completion, may involve support from others and connection to community resources and leadership, need to be evaluated and measured for progress. Criteria for evaluation should come from the person creating the plan and should be considered before action, if possible. What a recovery plan looks like on paper. Goal: get master's degree. Strengths and recovery capital: have a bachelor's degree. Time: am on disability and am self-employed. Experienced with online courses. Challenges: classes are condensed, so more is required in a shorter time. Action steps: clear agenda for first week. Start each day with school first. Complete all assignments before recreation. Date of completion: August 10th, 2025. In the space provided on the extended pages for the recovery plan, you may also want to include the people who can support you in each goal. Recovery planning. For many who pursue recovery, higher education may not have been a priority during their youth because of undue influences or a lack of proper role models. Recovery involves regaining what was lost, and for some, education was lost or deprioritized at a young age. Recovery planning can help people set education and career-related goals that promote self-actualization, which is an important part of recovery and living a self-directed life. Pursuing higher education through recovery planning provides an opportunity to return to a prior status or path in life before various influences may have led us off course. Planning for things like seeking support through community involvement, mentorship, and peer support can aid recovery during higher education by promoting well-being, positive identity, and avoiding the kind of isolation that could lead back to old behaviors. The support available in colleges, such as advising, tutoring, study groups, and financial aid, benefited my recovery directly and helped me succeed academically and develop in my career. This is why, for me, I made education part of my recovery plan. Recovery planning. Struggling is a natural part of the recovery process. For those in recovery pursuing higher education, struggling can take on additional forms, such as juggling academic responsibilities with personal life challenges like mental health, legal issues, or work and family life. However, with acceptance of our circumstances and a commitment to persistent effort, we can use struggles as opportunities to refine our resilience. Learning better ways to manage tough times is key to feeling happier and healthier long-term for those continuing their education. That's why it's good to have a recovery plan that accounts for the specifics of what we need to accomplish. By planning my recovery process through perspectives like these, I felt more in control during tough periods and better equipped to succeed academically. When I was struggling, I gained the power to help myself move forward, and with a committed effort to my recovery plan, I will achieve my goal. For me, higher education is a valid part of the recovery plan that supports feeling better by enabling me to improve my ability to create change in my life. Mentoring. Mentoring provides an opportunity to be there for a person in a way that supports them in both the best of times and the worst. A mentor utilizes self-disclosure in a way that doesn't compete with, but rather informs an individual of shared experiences. A good mentor will respect each person's unique approach to recovery. A mentor should be primarily focused on the person they're mentoring, only sharing about themselves when it would benefit the mentee. We never know just what kind of impact we will have on others. Mentoring is constant and ongoing, and occurs in situations where we present the best or worst aspects of ourselves. What mentors should do: participate as a member of the individual's treatment team. Guarantee that recovery is based on the individual's strengths and resiliencies. Support the individual in defining spirituality on their own terms. Assist others to develop problem-solving skills. Assure that relationships, services, and supports reflect individual differences and cultural diversity. Support the individual's use of self-determination. Model acceptance and cultural humility. Partner with individuals to assist them in identifying their strengths, challenges to recovery, and recovery capital. Apply motivational interviewing to assist individuals during stages of change. Inform individuals of their options related to decisions that affect their recovery. Identify personal issues that negatively impact one's ability to perform mentor duties and perform appropriate self-care before assisting others further. Utilize consultation regarding dual relationships. Utilize de-escalation techniques and educate individuals on suicide prevention concepts. Partner with the individual to access recovery-oriented services and supports. Support the individual to identify options and participate in decisions connected to creating and completing recovery goals. Promote a wellness-focused approach to recovery. Utilize supervision and consultation regarding harm to self and others. Respond appropriately to personal stressors, triggers, and indicators. Utilize trauma-informed care approaches. Assess the mentee's satisfaction with his/her progress toward recovery goals. Mahatma Gandhi. Remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi: be the change you want to see in the world. One way to affect change is through mentoring. Mentoring. When I first started thinking about continuing my education after some past challenges, I felt overwhelmed by both academics and responsibilities outside of school. However, connecting with a mentor who genuinely supported my well-being and success made a world of difference. Through regular meetings with my mentor, I was able to work through issues that had long held me back from achievement. They helped me establish meaningful life goals for the first time and navigate difficulties like legal matters. My mentor also suggested productive groups and activities that aided my recovery by preventing isolation. Connecting to others in the community through these supports was important for my engagement in recovery and academics. Additionally, my mentor boosted my confidence to believe in my potential and form real goals. Their guidance helped me imagine higher accomplishments for myself. Mentoring. When I began to truly feel like I could succeed at this school stuff and began to understand the industry in which I was learning about, I began to believe I could succeed and felt compelled to help others gain the same feeling. I didn't have all the answers and wasn't the best of all the other students, but I began mentoring others who were truly struggling and discovered some new personal strengths in the process. Seeking to give back, I connected with fellow students on social media. In meeting many other dedicated students, I found the best and most motivated among them who truly wanted guidance. Mentoring these individuals to support their success helped me develop confidence and relationships that benefited my career goals. By accepting my role and responsibilities as a mentor, I practice important recovery fundamentals daily. Our meetings require demonstrating honesty, trust, acceptance, and personal accountability without any judgment. In turn, mentoring others reinforces these values and concepts in my own education and wellness. Mentoring. In early recovery, I learned the value that mentors can provide in terms of advocating for an individual's needs, navigating complex systems like school or legal, and problem-solving challenges as they occur. As I began working towards completing my education, a mentor became incredibly important for supporting my goals. They worked with me to establish SMART, incremental goals, focusing on aspirations that were aligned with my personal strengths. Having someone to process setbacks and career accomplishments with kept me engaged in my recovery process of cultivating self-worth and potential for growth. Each week, my mentor played an instrumental role in helping me build self-efficacy by role modeling effective communication skills and study habits. Through principled, trauma-informed discussions, I gained insight on managing emotions, navigating past traumas that once felt paralyzing, and maintaining overall wellness using skills like time management. The homework. In the next year, I will, for the current year, create a recovery plan involving 7 goals, activities that you have every day and some activities you'll need to do every once in a while. In the area for the date, if it's not ongoing, list the date of completion. If it is ongoing, state whether it's something that's done every day or how often it will be done. Please include both daily tasks and those we must do every now and then. Start with things you struggle with rather than things you find easy. Next, create a list of 7 big goals you have, or things that are vitally important that you want to or must do within the year. Ensure that this list, recovery plan, includes how you will support your basic needs like shelter, food, and bills. Make the goal specific and attainable. During day 4, we will present a goal from each category of the recovery plan and the action steps for the goal. Notes. We'll now cover the homework questions from day 2. How does your past approach to academic responsibilities relate to your current views on self-care and burnout prevention? In what areas of your life do you struggle with overcommitting yourself without paying attention to your own needs and limitations? In what ways does overcommitting affect your ability to manage responsibilities over time? What specific self-care activities help you to better manage your workload and prevent burnout? What are some ways you can identify when you begin to feel burned out, fatigued, or overwhelmed with your academic responsibilities? What are 3 of the simplest acts of self-care that you can incorporate into your life? And how could these activities boost your well-being and motivation as a student? Was higher education ever part of your plan growing up? Describe one thing that either held you back in school or helped you in your education growing up. How could developing education and career-related goals as part of a recovery plan help regain what was lost or deprioritized in your life? What are some ways that seeking out a qualified mentor or supporter to help you create your recovery plan could promote well-being and positive identity while pursuing your career goals? What are some specific life challenges that someone pursuing their education while also pursuing wellness and recovery may struggle with alongside juggling academic responsibilities? Why could having a plan that accounts for the specifics of what you need to accomplish help you gain a sense of control during hardship? What are some key short-term goals that would help you feel better equipped to succeed academically? What are some issues that previously held you back from achievement that a mentor could help you work through? How could connecting with a mentor who supports your well-being and success aid recovery from past challenges? How could being a mentor for others with similar experiences who are looking to pursue higher education provide benefits to you or another person? Would being a mentor help you feel fulfilled? What personal strengths do you feel you have that could help you help another person? How could using these strengths as a mentor help you further develop your confidence and career goals? Mentoring requires demonstrating honesty, trust, acceptance, and personal accountability. Which of these characteristics do you feel you are the strongest in, and why? Which of these characteristics do you feel you need the most improvement in, and why? What is a SMART goal? What is one SMART goal related to your strengths that will improve your life? How will this goal improve your life? How does gaining insight into your strengths create the possibility to aid others? How could being of service to others keep you engaged in the recovery process? Has anyone ever acted as a role model who offered to teach you effective study skills? What did they suggest to help study better? Out of all the advice you may have been given about study skills, what would you recommend to another person as being the most helpful tool? Section 4, Radical Recovery Peer Support University, Day 3. Honesty. Many of us have baggage. In recovery, we may resist new healthy behaviors and thoughts. This may often stem from a lack of honesty about 3 factors. 1, that we have been hurt. 2, that we have hurt ourselves or others. And 3, the nature of the severity of the hurt. It is important to acknowledge if we're not honest with ourselves about how we've been hurt ourselves or others, or the severity, we may repeat unfavorable experiences. Let's take a minute to be honest with ourselves about ourselves. On page 149 and 150, you will find a list of virtues, values, and character defects. Please read the directions and complete the activity. Each person has some of each. Please indicate at least 5 of each. Honesty. Honesty was one of the hardest recovery concepts for me to embrace early on. For so long, I had hidden from the truth about ways I'd been hurt and had hurt others through my own actions. Living with so many secrets and a distorted view of reality kept me stuck in unhealthy behaviors. When I first started participating in a peer support group, I was afraid to be truthful about my experiences and struggles. I didn't want others to judge me or for my secrets to be revealed. It wasn't until I opened up to a mentor that I really began making progress. They showed me unconditional support and helped me understand the importance of being honest with myself first. With their guidance, I gradually started sharing more of my story with others in the group. Each time I did, I felt a weight being lifted off my shoulders. I realized I wasn't alone in my experiences, and others weren't judging me like I feared. Being honest helped me gain clarity and acceptance of my past. It opened the door to recovery concepts like hope, responsibility, and trust that allowed me to start moving in a positive direction. Now, honesty is the foundation that keeps me grounded in my recovery. My life has changed for the better because of embracing this important concept. Honesty. I didn't perform well academically in the past due to various life challenges. I questioned whether I was even capable of succeeding in school. However, I realized I needed to be honest with myself that my past struggles did not define my potential. And it was these struggles, not necessarily a lack of effort, which had held me back from my education. In college, I committed to putting in genuine effort through honest and ethical work. I understood the importance of academic integrity, as dishonesty would only hinder my learning and preparation for future careers. While the coursework was difficult at times, and there were many temptations to shortcut my responsibilities, maintaining honesty helped me persevere. I focused on studying diligently and completing all assignments to the best of my ability. Through practicing honesty, I gained self-respect and built trust within myself that I could achieve my academic goals through earnest participation. My professors also recognized my commitment, which boosted my confidence further. Looking back now, I see how developing integrity set strong foundations for my continued education and career path. It's allowed me to take pride in my accomplishments rather than living with regret. Overall, honesty has been an empowering part of my recovery. Trust. There are different levels of trust. We can have trust in a specific person or people that we trust, in the systems we're in, such as our government's legal system or system of wellness or therapy. Self-trust, trusting that we have our own best interests in mind. Within these is determining who we can rely on, who we cannot, and what we can share with others. Tip, trust. Self-disclosure. It's important to remember we never need to share something that would make us uncomfortable. There's more we can share with others than something that would make us uncomfortable. It's different to share things we want to keep private versus our hopes, goals, and stresses. There's no guarantee what we say will remain confidential. Trust. When I first considered pursuing my education after years of struggle, I didn't know if I could trust that higher education would be worth the significant costs and efforts involved. I questioned whether college was just another system trying to control people for its own profit motives. However, as I observed others who had faced similar challenges as me succeed through higher education, it gave me reason to believe the system couldn't be built entirely on lies or empty promises. While teachers and colleges are not perfect, focusing on my own dedication and persistence helped overcome potential frustrations with my inability to trust in a brighter future. I also had to trust that each educational experience, such as assignments and courses, would teach me valuable skills and take me closer to achieving my goal. Practicing trust wasn't always easy, as my attention was constantly divided between school and fulfilling other responsibilities, like my recovery, family, and work. The difficulty of school is a natural hurdle, but hard work is what gives education its value and separates achievers from non-achievers. Learning to accept uncertainties and have faith in my own abilities allowed me to persevere despite doubts about higher education. In the end, taking that initial leap of trust empowered my recovery journey and allowed me to graduate as a lower-level honors student. Trust. For me, trust was an issue that took a long time to develop, both with myself and others on my journey to recovery and higher education. In my past, I experienced a great deal of conflict and struggle with not knowing who I could trust and who would offer me genuine and helpful support. This relates directly to the concept of trust. Having safe, trustworthy people to lean on is so important to recovery from addiction or mental health issues. Feeling less alone and having others who understand my struggle makes the path forward much more achievable. And college is a wonderful place to find many unique and different people to connect with. When I first entered higher education, I did not believe I could truly succeed after years of past failures. But through surrounding myself with a support network of peers, mentors, academics, and recovery community members, I was able to start building trust that's been so meaningful in my ongoing recovery and academic journey. These people helped me believe in myself. Being able to be vulnerable, to ask for help when I needed it, and to open up to others in a supportive community has created countless opportunities to further develop trust within myself and with others. Acceptance. Each person is subject to different degrees of unforeseen circumstances, restrictions, rules, and regulations. For the most part, these obstacles depend on our situation, can be temporary, or can be changed with support. While we must deal with these situations while they occur, we can find ways to have hope within them and have better days. Tip: trauma grief informed. Many people will report that there are things that they cannot or will not accept. This is okay. Remind them that they can still work on other fundamentals and that there is a difference between 1, accepting that an event took place, and 2, accepting an event into our lives and our space. We must keep moving. Sometimes it is the things we find the hardest to accept that take us off the path of our life purpose. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed that the most important thing each person must do is figure out their life purpose and let nothing hold them back from being the very best at the purpose they have chosen. While we may struggle to find acceptance, we can let nothing hold us back. In the words of Dr. King, we must keep moving. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Acceptance. Before I returned to college, I was so hard on myself for the past mistakes and difficulties I faced in high school. It took accepting where I was at and focusing on growing from that point for things to really start improving. In classes, there were times I struggled with course material or managing my workload alongside outside responsibilities. It was easy to feel ashamed about that and to feel like I wouldn't be able to do it. But once I accepted that setbacks and imperfect progress were normal parts of the process, I could focus on doing my best without that extra burden of harsh self-criticism. That made it easier to ask for help from professors or peers when needed. On a larger level, gaining acceptance of my situation and myself allowed me to fully commit to my education by acknowledging and making peace with my past and present limitations. I had so much more mental and emotional energy to dedicate to my studies. I didn't have to spend time wishing things were different or beating myself up for where I started. I could own my reality while still striving to grow through my college experience. I think acceptance was an invaluable component of bettering my situation. Acceptance. Throughout my bachelor's degree, I found myself frequently feeling discouraged by unforeseen challenges and circumstances that seemed too difficult to overcome. As someone maintaining recovery from substance use and mental health while pursuing an education, any new stressors or obstacles felt like threats that could jeopardize all the progress I'd made. There were certainly times when my responsibilities outside of school, from legal troubles to marital issues, made dedicating time and energy to my studies feel nearly impossible. It was so easy to believe those problems meant putting my education on hold or even giving up on that goal entirely. In fact, I did give up after my first year of college, which was almost 8 years before I began my recovery journey and finally returned to finish my degree. However, through acceptance, I found another path. By acknowledging the reality of my situation without judgment, I could stop viewing setbacks as signs of failure. Coming to terms with current situations allowed me to problem solve constructively instead of emotionally reacting in all or nothing terms. I discovered valuable support systems within recovery groups and communities that help shoulder burdens through difficult patches and reduced my course load when I felt I needed a break. Accepting Your Life, page 42. Original Peer Support Recovery and Coping Skills Workbook and Curriculum. Life happens. Life will go on whether things have been fair or not. Life will go on if you have made a big mistake. Life will go on if you win $1 million. Life will go on no matter what. Life will go on if you break your arm. Life will go on if you have surgery. Life will go on if you have a financial crisis. Life will go on. Your life will continue. We must accept that life will happen, and sometimes there's nothing that we can do about it. If we suffer pain, loneliness, regret, embarrassment, or any other difficult feeling, we must accept our life. We must accept our life, and we must accept our reality. We must also accept that each and every one of us has the power within to make a better day for ourselves, no matter what the circumstances we find ourselves in. Life will go on, no matter what. I know that I will live my life fighting for that better day because I have to. I have no other option. Better days are on the way, and better days are here to stay. Day 4, Introduction. Please be prepared to discuss a goal for each category of your 1-year recovery plan. Have a great week. Notes. We'll now cover the homework questions from Day 3. How easy or difficult do you find it to be honest with yourself about ways you've been hurt by others or have hurt others through your own actions? What is one experience that has led you to feel this way? When sharing aspects of your experiences and struggles with others, How do you balance being honest while also feeling comfortable? What could you do to build your level of trust in others so that honest disclosure feels less risky? Give an example of something that might be good not to talk about with people you're not sure you can trust. And give an example of something that's usually okay to share with others that will not lead to consequences. How can being honest with yourself about your past academic struggles help you overcome feelings of self-doubt about your potential for success in any kind of school? In what ways can maintaining honesty help you persevere when life or coursework get difficult? How can practicing honesty build self-respect and trust within yourself and your ability to achieve your academic and career goals? Do you feel like college or technical school is built on a lie, or is a trap to get you to owe someone money, or that it's something that can provide a valuable experience? Do you trust that college or technical school will be worth the cost and effort? How can learning to accept uncertainties and having trust in your ability help you persevere when you're in doubt? How have past experiences of conflict and struggle led you to have difficulty trusting others to offer genuine and helpful support? In what ways can surrounding yourself with a support network of peers, mentors, academics, and recovery community members help you start building trust in yourself and your ability to succeed? How can having companionship and someone to trust help support your ongoing recovery and academic journey? What past mistake or difficulty do you most struggle to accept? How can accepting your limitations allow you the opportunity to create problem-solving solutions that will help you strive to grow? How can acceptance help you move forward in a healthy way and commit more fully to your goals? What is one recent, unexpected challenge or situation that's threatened your progress? What is your perception of this challenging situation? How could viewing the setback or challenge from question one as a sign of failure, rather than accepting it and moving forward, impact your ability to create a solution that will help you continue to grow? Sometimes we find our life situations unacceptable. Maybe these situations further our purpose or goals, or maybe they do not. If your current situation provides for your basic needs, but you find yourself feeling it's not the best situation for you, how can you accept it for what it is and pursue change?
Thank you for listening to our Radical Recovery Peer Support University Audiobook sample. If you would like to hear the whole audiobook with sessions 1 through 5 instead of just sessions 1 through 3, please subscribe and listen to over 1 hour of audio or video so we can monetize our channel. Thank you.